Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome inside the studio. Chad Rosema here to host the action for the pregame show before jetting upstairs and calling tonight's 10-pack as we kick off another three-day stretch of racing action. The next 3 days are going to look pretty good. Didn't look so good here just a couple nights ago. Randy Waples was frightened by all the noise and thunder, lightning,
turned my hair
rain
black
out there. Yeah, it did. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't even so much so the rain that forced the cancellation, because even by the time the call was made, it had let up in that part. It was just kind of a light rain. It was the lightning, and it just wasn't leaving.
No, and it wasn't going to leave either. You know, I mean, it was going to stick around for a few hours, and the horses in the first couple of races had already been held back an hour. Some of them had already had Lasix and that. You know, you got to release them at some point, and again, the lightning wasn't going anywhere. You know, it was just one of those nights. I know people get upset. Believe me, we were here. We wanted to race too. The people that were here, you know, people trucking in from Kawartha and Kingston or wherever, you know what I mean? Sarnia area coming here to race, you know. We all wanted to race, but you know, it's not fair to the horses, number one. Like, look at that lightning. It's not fair to the horses.
Yeah, it's not safe.
It's not. And it's not fair to the drivers to have to drive in that condition, because it's not a matter that you're out there getting wet. It's the matter that you're out there and you can't see where you're going.
Yeah.
You know, that's basically what it boils down to. It was the right call to make. Yes, annoying, yes, but it was the right call to make.
Yeah, whereas Flamborough Downs, which also raced on Tuesday night, they're, 25 minutes from here?
Yeah, but till when?
So they got their first 6 in.
Yeah.
And then they had to pull the plug, but theirs wasn't so much the lightning.
It was the rain.
It was the rain and the deteriorating track condition because of that rain that sort of just washed it out. And they had to pull the plug on, I'm not sure how many more they had to go, but they got most of theirs in before having to do it. So, yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you, I mean, not even 30 minutes away from here and just kind of a bit of a different weather pattern.
One of our worst things, too, though, is that we have the escarpment right here at Mohawk. You know, the Milton Escarpment, Niagara Escarpment, or whatever. A lot of times it's either trapping the bad weather on our side, or it's actually, you know, keeping the bad weather away from us. But it really does work a big way in the weather when you get there and you actually look at it, you know, what the escarpment does, you know, for stopping it. And, you know, we're on this side of the Niagara Escarpment, and Flamborough's on that side of the Niagara Escarpment. So, you know, unfortunately, it was bad for us early, but then they finally caught up.
Yeah, now good news is, looking ahead to the next coming, let's say, week and a half. I know I look next week in my area. I'm not too far from here, nor are you. And here, I mean, we're looking like sunny skies, 22 to 24 degrees Celsius every day.
Yeah,
and we're going to be into October. Now, I had been hearing reports even a couple of months ago, and everybody can make their predictions, but hearing these Farmer's Almanac predictions, whatever it may be, from the bees and all this stuff, that we're supposed to be an unseasonably warm fall, warmer than usual, and at least right now, it's what it's looking like.
Aren't we supposed to get like kind of a warm, wet winter too?
Well, I mean, if you're going to get a more mild winter, it's generally going to bring a lot more precipitation, right? As far as the snow, which, as you know, I'll take it all the way up till Christmas Day. Yeah. And then I want it gone. I want to get back on the golf course then.
This is it, exactly.
It doesn't happen that way.
Yeah. Well, it used to be a lot of fun when there was snow and the covered bridge was functioning, but now the covered bridge isn't functioning.
Under construction.
Who needs the snow?
Under construction.
It's not romantic anymore.
No, that's right. All right, well, we'll continue to move on. When we look at tonight, so now we're getting into provincial stakes season, kind of end of season for the playoffs, we can call it.
The deep part of the second season.
Yeah, so we've got consolations kicking off tonight with 4 of them that we're going to see. We've got 4 more tomorrow, but then the championships, all 8 for the grassroots, are going to be on Saturday, where, again, as was introduced last year, if you win your grassroots championship, you'll have the opportunity to drop in the box for the super final coming up. I think it's Canadian Thanksgiving weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And if there isn't, if there's less than 10 starters and you drop in, you can try and double up.
Yeah.
Right? Get an opportunity like Crackshot did last year.
That's right.
So it's just kind of a cool, wrinkle. We've got a solid card coming up on Saturday. And then next week, looking at the entries, I mean, now we're starting to get into the last opportunity for the gold starters, coming up. And I know when the entry box closed today and we were patiently awaiting to see what was drawn, Bojangles back out next Tuesday.
I was shocked that he's going to go with the last gold. I really did. You know what I mean?
Now, from a start standpoint, like trying to manage them in that way. way.
He was talking about it a couple of weeks ago about how he's trying to really manage them, keep those starts to the most minimum, because you have to with a 2-year-old. You don't want to, treat it like they're like a 3-year-old. You want them to come back next year. So I kind of thought he'd skip this one, which still gives them the super final and then an elimination for the Breeders' Crown and then the Breeders' Crown final.
So that's going to put you at 12 starts.
Right. So now if you go with another gold, then that gets you up to 13. Where I thought
I think
he would
12
miss
with
one.
that is what I'm counting.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I thought he would miss the gold. I really did.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's, without talking, again, we're just speculating here.
Yeah,
but,
we weren't talking to him.
I wonder if it's because if you look at his 8 starts, other than the Metro final, when's he been tested?
His first one. When he had to win in 50.
Yeah, but you think he was tested in there?
Well,
I guess, you're
okay,
going,
but
you're
I'm
going
just
quick.
saying, like, that's the comical part of the whole thing. His first lifetime start was his toughest lifetime start, and he goes in 150, and everything since then has been easy for him.
Yeah.
I say 50 first time behind the gate, no matter if you cut it or you sat in the 2-hole, I say it's a big ask.
Okay. All right. Well, we look forward to seeing him and other stars out here Tuesday, Monday, a bunch of golds. Race number 1 to kick off this Thursday 10-pack. Here's what we've got going on right now, Randy, because wagering's open, better double down. This was one that was getting play last week. Dear Abby ended up winning the contest, so it was another runner-up finish for this Bettor's Delight filly, but I mean, tough to argue against her in the fact that, she's knocking on the door, right? Yeah, I mean, she's got 15 career starts. I know she only has the 1 win, but the 3 runner-up finishes that she has are all in the last 3 starts. So outside of wins, she is racing pretty well.
She is. She's racing, deep into that second part of the season. She's racing better now than she has, at any part of her seasons. But I'm going to throw her in for third. It just seems
for
to
a better
me,
price somewhere.
Well, that and it just seems to me like she kind of finds way out of getting that picture taken. So I'm going to go someplace where I think that even though she's also kind of found a way to avoid getting her picture taken, I really like the way that she raced in her last start. So let's take a look at the replay on the 2-horse Cobra Kate.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that she, of all of them, to me, she's the one that's more or less sitting on the biggest win. I love Who Are You Tonight. I thought that she was really live in her last for Michael. I love Better Down tonight. She's in for third. But there's just something about the way Cobra Kate raced that I really, really thought that this was a big, big effort. I mean, last quarter, 26-4. Now, they only went and ended up going a mile and 55. And Dear Abby's going to get the job done. Now, this replay is going to show you the 2-horse Cobra Kate, the 3-horse Better Double Down, and the 5-horse Who Are You? Michael with Who Are You? Here's Cobra Kate now with Tyler Board. And like I said, if she doesn't hook that line a couple of times, I like her run out on it. I think that he's got a good chance with her in there. It's a race full of horses that, for whatever reason, seem to struggle to get to the winner's circle.
Yeah, and that's where I would have an issue with a Cobra Kate, a Better Double Down at what we're anticipating the prices to be, right? Because again, they're racing well, they're being there, they're paying their way for sure. But from a betting standpoint, it's almost like I'll let you beat me. You know what I mean? I'm going to try and see if I can get a better price. But with that being said, I don't know who I'd go with. Who Are You's that opportunity? She can't get the job done. Mick Jazz has been in some positions, you can kind of make a case for all of them like that. It'd be tough to almost say, here, we got McNair with Chantel Mitchell on a well-bred Show Me the Money Deo in here that we just can't judge this one too harshly because she's only raced 3 times.
Yeah. Did you call the other night when Bob drove One Last Bet? Would you have called that night, do you think?
What night was it?
I can't remember. I think she's back in to go Friday, so maybe last
Friday night. If it was on the weekend, I would have been here.
Anyway, when you're saying about horses, they don't want to win, One Last Bet, kind of another kind of one of those horses, doesn't want to win. You got to see the way McClure tries to trick her into winning. He stays down on a horse's back. I mean, it's 20 feet before the wire, and he could get out at the head of the lane, and he won't do it. He's just trying to get her to that winner circle, and he whips her out right at the last second, and she finishes a hard closing second.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, some of these horses, I think that they could be driven the same way, only be used 15 feet, but one of them's going to get there.
Yeah, someone's going to get there. So that's the way to kick off tonight's card with the $75,000 guaranteed early pick 5. We go to race number 2. Look at trotters here, 5 and under, nominators of 1 for this bunch. Field of 7. We get the shoe change all around on the 2 Soul Stealer, who's going to get the steel ones on. Morning line favorite is Florida Guy to the inside. This is one that, I know has only won 1 of 4, and that one win coming at Georgian, but in all 4 starts has been effective so far for Katarina Bosniak, and now tonight picks up Tyler Borth. I'm assuming Trevor's not here.
Trevor's not here tonight.
Yeah, maybe serving some days.
Not really sure on that one.
But anyway, off tonight. Nevertheless,
he is here tomorrow night though for the Trevor Henry fans because he's on Angostura Hanover.
Okay, all right. So Florida guy in here, obviously one that you got to consider as a major player.
Yeah, he's my consideration as the major player.
Okay.
Yeah, let's take a look at the replay in the last start for Florida guy. This 3-year-old alarm detector. Like Chad said, only the 4 starts, but he has had a win in those 4 starts, and he had a second, and all the other starts too have all been decent starts with good movement on the last one. This is only his 4th start. Let's take a look at it. And we'll see if he's still got some real good movement on the end of it. Now, Pierho Emerald not able to hold that one off or to get to that one. But, Pierho Emerald, different times, she's looked good. And then she's
got
kind of
played that night, too.
Right. And then she went through a bit of a funk. And then she's win recently and back into go again. So I think she's a horse that's okay. And to finish second to that one, not a bad effort. So let's take a look at Florida guy. And this time being driven by Trevor Henry. Coming on the outside. Big, good-looking horse too. Doesn't wear much equipment, and the reason I'm pointing that out is because sometimes a big horse like him takes more starts to get activated, to get fit, and he is really, to me, the only one that's really live on the end of it there. And I just think that each time he races, he's going to get more fit, more stronger, and we should be seeing that in this race. And let's face it, Chad, he's not really in against the toughest bunch.
No, I got a feeling he's an all-in kind of guy for you on your pick 5.
You're 100% right, Mr. Chad.
Yeah, I figured
he's the free square.
He is going to be a single, I think, on a lot of tickets to maybe try and shorten down this pick 5.
Sometimes you just got to go with the chalk.
Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, if you feel like he's just clearly the one that's going to get beat with him, go all in. Why not? Take a shot. All right, that's a look at race number 2. Let's go over to the 3rd. So, as mentioned, we've got the Ontario Cyrus Stakes playoffs going. So, grassroots consolations are going to be split over the next 2 nights with the championships with $75,000 up for grabs on each of those, and some pretty full fields on Saturday night as well as part of a solid program that we've got here. A field of a half dozen for the 2-year-old pacing fillies have lined up. And I mean, not that I'm not saying we specifically have that in this instance, but one thing you got to look out for in these consolations, but also then in the championships on Saturday is who maybe got a late start to their career or who maybe had something interrupted that forced them to miss starts. Do you know what I mean? And force their hand to be in those spots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, there is. Like I have always said, there's 2 separate parts of the season, and you got to understand that. Like some of these horses, like Chad said, started their season a little bit later than other ones. The ones that
especially the 2-year-olds, right?
Right, the ones that were ready to go early, they looked like they were the best. But now there's other horses that are coming out that were maybe brought along a little bit later. Now they kind of look like the best. Like Chad said, you really got to kind of take a look at your homework in here. Now, my top pick in this race is going to be Horse with a Plan. I thought that she was a very good first over, 2 starts down where she finished second. I thought she ended up with another first over effort in her last, maybe tired her out a little bit, but short field, I like her in here tonight. She's going to be my top pick, but I can honestly say the one that scares me the most and the one that I think I'm going way too light on is Cattle Kiss. I like the way that she raced when she was here before, when Guy first had her here. But
multiple moves, both times.
Right, but it always seemed to me like the big track didn't pick her up. You know what I'm saying? Like the big stretch didn't pick her up. She could do everything on a small track, on a 5/8, but the big track, what she did, it didn't necessarily make her faster. So I'm going to use her, but I'm not going to put her up on top, and that could be a big mistake on my part.
And from a win perspective,
She's the
I'd
best.
love to see her race how she did in the June 29th qualifier.
Absolutely.
Follow someone, then tip out in the stretch. The problem is, she's probably going to cut it. And you know yourself, especially now she's coming from Three Rivers, where she had a great campaign there, was able to win the stakes that were there last weekend. She's going to turn for home here. And this stretch is going to be so daunting again, right?
Yeah.
Because you're coming from the small stretch on the half miler to then one of the longest stretches in all the harness racing.
That's it.
It's just
100%.
tough.
It is, and not all horses, if a horse can pace pacer trot in 55 on a half-mile track, it doesn't mean that they're going to come to this big track and go faster. Some horses are just better on the turns. 4 turns as opposed to 2 turns, that's their advantage. That's why they can move so quick on a smaller kind of track. I don't know if that's what we're seeing with her, but what I do know is she's fast and she knows how to win races.
Yeah, this Annie's Diva, I wouldn't take her lightly.
I wouldn't either.
No, I think John was a big fan of hers last week. Was trying it just, 51-4 is what they went in that grassroots. Okay, we're going to turn the page to the 4th race. There's where we get our pick 6 wager underway. We're back to the trotters. 2-year-old fillies in here, nominators of 1. Scratch down to a group of 8 in session has come up sick, which you can see that happening sometimes when you come back from the Red Mile. You've traveled this time of year too. Could be the case, but also getting on the Lasix, so maybe something tied in. So she's going to need a little extra time. We've got Calix, who we can trust a little bit more after she got around the track cleanly in the latest. She's had the hobbles added. Who do you want to focus in on?
Is that her name, Calix?
Calix.
Oh, I always called her Callie X.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I Google it, I forget exactly what it means.
Right.
I haven't been told any different, but the pronunciation is Calix from when I get online.
Yeah, the only reason I always thought it was that was because Sacramento was always referred to as Cal-X. So I kind of thought that maybe somebody named her Callie X, but I'm sure that you're right. So anyway, the 2-horse Calix is going to be she's going to be my top pick in here. Now I'm originally, Chad, you can see I had the 5 over the 2. I flipped it to the 2 over the 5. I like this 5-horse.
You don't change your mind.
I really was thinking about maybe going to the 5-horse up on top, Pat's Queen, but this Calix, she raced so good in her last start there. I'm gonna go to her because we've always seen the talent with her. Sometimes you just found that she was in way too tough. Whether it was a Peaceful Way or a Pure Ivory.
I think we feel she's a Grand Circuit filly.
I agree.
If she can just stay to it.
True, 100%. And at some point, they're going to want a 2-year-old mark on her better than 2-1 qualifying mark. So let's take a look at this Muscle Hill daughter. And I think that this was a really good effort in her last. Now, she was the beaten favorite, but she is not going to see a Lo and Behold here tonight. And frankly, I thought Lo and Behold looked better last start than she's looked in a long time, too. So not only were you had to beat Lo and Behold, you had to beat a very good version of Lo and Behold. She's not going to get the job done, but look at the separation.
Well, the middle half
here.
is nothing.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they were really
She's
slow.
the livest of the rest. So she seems good gated. She, recently went to the trotting hobbles. This is only going to be, she qualified with them and then raced the one time with them, which is the time that we just showed you. And now she's coming back with them. I think the trotting hobbles has really made a big difference in her. And I think race number 4, I'm looking at her as a free square again.
Okay, so another one that you're thinking of singling in on. And this is the type of filly, and I'm not sure if the plan is to maybe go to the Red Mile next week, as we know they just kicked off their Grand Circuit meet. Mm-hmm. Now, this is the type of filly you could see the Stacey's going to Kentucky with.
Oh,
put it in one of those international stallion stakes or something, and you like you say, you get a good mic, or you get a good mark on her. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But we'll see tonight. Now she's got to slide down to the rail. We'll see how that deals with her. What about Maspar for Team McNair?
First start hobbles.
Yeah, and the qualifier with the hobbles.
First start hobbles.
Very good.
Yeah.
Right?
Compared to the rest of them?
Yeah.
The rest of them, I mean, she didn't know if she was trotting or pacing or running or what she was doing. They go to the trotting hobbles on her, come back with her 8 days later, and she's bionic. So, another one that's going to be pretty tough with the first time trotting hobbles on her. But I really do think that this 2-horse has showed us that she is really close to coming up with a big victory.
All right, we're going to move on. We're going to skip over races 5 and 6. Note that the 6th race does kick off the late pick 5 wager. Race number 7, OSS Grassroots Consolation for the 2-year-old trotting fillies. Field of 8 in here. My Ghost, lukewarm morning line favorite, at 3-1, in search of her first win. In fact, we've got only one of them in here has a win. Mm-hmm. Calgary Morning, has got a win. And I remember this one, from the 10 hole that night. Yep. She was the lone filly against the boys in there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And went right down the road and won. Then they tried her in the golds, and for whatever reason, she just hasn't really been able to move forward off of that win. Does she right the ship here?
That's the whole thing, right? I mean, she doesn't move forward. Started out, obviously, she just trained down good too, and then she has the big win out of the 10 hole. They go right to gold. So they obviously, it was in their head there that they thought she was a gold filly anyway. She was just doing what they thought, but then has struggled since then. I'm going to throw her in on the bottom. I don't know if this is going to be one of her best starts or not. You know what I mean? I don't see it happening that way. So I'm going to throw her in on the bottom. You brought up My Ghost. I would say it was a very good first over effort in her last. Only got beat a couple of lengths at the end of it. Going to throw her in for second. But the replay in the horse that I'm going to go with here is the 7 horse, Lily Rain. This is a daughter of Archangel coming out of the Mike Keeling stable, and I really like the way that she raced in her last. Now, you see down on the bottom, her last 2 starts, she's been clean, no efforts. But before that, in 4 starts, she had 2 breaks all behind the gate. Now she got the 7 hole to work with. She should have a good spot behind the gate. She's not going to be behind the car. She's not going to be behind one of the wings, the inside wing that's back in India. So on this replay, look at Chris Jr. down on the inside with this girl, and I mean, he doesn't have a clear path just yet. She has a little bit of broken equipment. Her Buxton's undone, but that's not a big deal. That shouldn't cause any kind of issues. But what I like about it is that she's staying with them. She's staying at it. No breaks, no problems that way. And I'm thinking again that she can come into this race and come up with a big effort.
And she's third behind arguably the top 2 in the grassroots for the 2-year-old trotting fillies.
Yeah.
Right? And making a run for it. And Blue Jean Gal, who's been on a tear, right?
Yeah.
So third behind those fillies, probably not a bad thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just like nothing really else in here, kind of shows me those same kind of ability. And this isn't the first time that she raced good. She raced good 2 down as well, So Lily Rain, I think she could be sitting on a pretty good effort.
All right, that's a look at the 7th race. Over to race number 8, more grassroots consolations. This for the 2-year-old Colton Gelding Trotters. We've got a field of 6 that are dropped in the box for this consolation. 25 grand up for grabs. Maize and Blues, the morning line favorite, is a one-time winner and a pretty good mark for a 2-year-old too. 55-4 on the trot. But another one that, since that hasn't really taken the next step forward. From there. We haven't quite seen that 55-4 type effort from Maize and Blue since then. Maybe it'll be tonight.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not 100% sure if this is if this guy doesn't have a little bit of soreness problems to deal with as a 2-year-old, So I'm going to put him up on top. I think Sendica is really talented kind of horse, and Ben Bergeron sending in a bridle change on Sendica. Going to go from the blinkers to an open bridle. I think if he went to a blind, it would have scared me more. The open doesn't bother me quite as much. He might just be kind of doing a little fishing himself, Benoit, trying to get this one kind of back on track. A few times, he's kind of lost his way, and then he's found it, and then he's kind of like lost his way again. And I kind of find that that's what we're on right here now with him is a kind of a, maybe a little bit of a lose your way kind of thing. Not really racing the way that I know that he's capable of racing, but he's getting a bridle change, and it's not a real tough bunch that he has to face in here. So going to use him in for third. Annabelle Durharas in for second. But Maize and Blue, what I like about him is the fact that he can control his own thing. Whether he lasts or not, he can still go to the front and make a good account of himself. If one of these other horses happen to come off of his back and beat him, so be it. But there's also a pretty good chance that maybe one of them's not going to come off of his back and beat him. And like I said, I think he's got good speed. He can carry it a long ways, but sometimes he looks a little second-handed out there. Sometimes he looks a little hot out there. If they're a little bit sore, usually the hotness follows along with it. That's what kind of gets them a little goofy, you know what I mean? So I'm just hoping that he looks good out on the track, and if he does, I'm looking at him maybe as a free square.
You might be able to just overpower them in a short field against this group. You know what I mean?
Just keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bottom them out.
Even if he looks tired late, he might just do that.
Bottom them out.
The rest of them out. Some of them trying to stay with him, right?
That's what I'm kind of hoping. And, we got the right guy driving if that's what we're looking for.
Over to the 9th race we go. It is not a grassroots, but it is a grassroots starters contest here for the 2-year-old Colton Geldings on the pace. We've got a field of 7 in here, and illicit behavior. Again, he did what he's done before. He's got that real quick turn of foot, You just kind of ask him, and he can pace for a piece. and he's built up leads, which maybe then he'll kind of get reeled in there.
I think this is the feature of the night.
Yeah, could be.
Well, he's the deepest.
Yeah, there's going to be some speed here, too. Call sign Rooster can put up some speed. Maybe a Lunar Sport coming off of a win now as well. Where'd you end up going?
I win illicit behavior.
Just
because of that crazy speed that he has.
Yeah.
The rest of them
looks like a nice sports car, the way he's built, too.
And there's some nice horses in here, but I don't find any of them has the speed that he can lay down. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a short field. Illicit behavior is the way that I'm going to go. But I think the Jameson horse is really starting to get good. This Man Destiny, I think he's starting to come along a little bit better. Call sign Rooster's been good. Going to throw him in as part of it. And all the right places. I wouldn't exactly just throw this guy away because this is another colt that's got really, really good movement on the end of it there. And, Dougie's just mostly just started to come on board with this guy. So he could come up with a pretty good effort. He's just about ready for a McNair Air Show.
But illicit behavior, we figure he'll be the one that gets a clear
I
support.
think so. Yeah.
Right?
But this is a good race.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Okay, let's go over to the finale, race 10. And to close it out, we get a fresh start in the Jackpot High Five because we obviously didn't race Tuesday, but it went on Monday, which is not uncommon. When we have a mandatory payout, we can see it in the next couple of cards going, and you might get a $8,000 payout or something like that, whatever it may be, maybe even a little bit more. I'm not sure what it was on Monday. But race number 10, Grassroots Consolation for the 2-year-old Colton Gelding Pacers. Scratch down to a field of 8. Maybe some of these horses that are competing in this 9th race or even in the Consolation will say, well, wait a minute, or in the that have been in the Grassroots, in race number 9 are saying, I could maybe, slide into here, over here. Evans Legacy was one that was probably going to get some play in there. Did you have him
Big
on
time.
your ticket?
In for third.
You had him in there. Yeah. So now, where do you go with on top?
I went Elmer Hanover.
Elmer
Hanover. And we can take a look at that replay while we're talking this guy down too. So this is a guy, Chad, a couple of times, Paul Reed is a really sharp horseman, and there's been a couple of times there that he's gone to a goal, and he's gone to the Nassau Grand Circuit race with this guy. So we can go with this Elmer Blute. Now, he's only going to finish 4th in here, Chad, but what I liked about it was the fact that he rattles off a last quarter in 28 flat, and, looks to me like he's going to come up with a decent kind of an effort in here for Tyler Jones. Had the 2-hole, and you're going to see Tyler coming with this guy.
Oh, this is the Cheese Dreams.
Yeah, this is not the same race there that I.
I
I sent in the wrong replay. My apologies. This is the Cheese Dreams coming hard on the end of it for Trevor Henry.
Yep.
Any chance we could look at that again, Javon? That was my fault. If we could maybe back that up, even just halfway down the stretch, and just take a quick look at that one again there. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, Elmer Hanover is going to be my top pick in here, but the replay that I was sending in was Cheese Dreams. I wrote it down wrong. Now, Cheese Dreams in this race, real big effort. We're going to see this for Trevor Henry. For Trevor Henry and for Scotty McNiven. Now, Jody picking up the drive on Cheese Dreams tonight. This guy, very quietly, 7 starts, 4 times in the top 2. That's pretty good, pretty good summary. And look at this guy for coming into the late part of the season, Chad. He was tough to play against this guy, but I've been waiting for this Elmer Hanover to land in the middle of the gate and be in a spot where I think that he can do, because I think that he's got some abilities too. Like I said, at one time, Paul Reed had gone to the Nassau, had gone to the Gold with this guy. Nassau, he ended up 2nd. Gold, no good. But then he's had a start since. This guy, good wheels on the end of it, and even to the run out, he's still moving forward. So Cheese Dreams going to be tough in here. Jody Jameson picking up a live one, but I'm going to stick with Elmer Hanover.
Yeah, and Elmer Hanover, to him, what I saw last time out, I know from a time perspective it's still the same, but whether he just lost his confidence getting beat so much in the start prior. He needed to kind of get back to something that's going to build him up a little bit, and I think that helped out last time because he was runner-up just 3 back to Bojangles, albeit 6 lengths behind, but he finished ahead of some good colts. in that race.
Stingray Day will be in one of them.
Yeah, so Elmer Hanover in there. Ryder Ross would be one to me that, he's been having to come first up the last couple of weeks and still fights. Very tough. I think he's got a big shot in here.
He fights, but he don't want to go by.
Think that's what it is?
I don't know, man. 8 starts, 6
if the
times.
Trip's reversed, maybe he gets a helmet. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm using them, and I like them.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to wonder,
You'll get bet
does he
there,
want to get by? Now,
Yeah.
one other one I would like to quickly say, Lose Game. This, to me, was a very, very locked-in horse 2 starts ago. Last start, he did get out, but that was a tough bunch that he was in against. This is a much easier group that he has to deal with. I think Lose Game, even though he doesn't show a whole lot, I think that the momentum is really starting to come back around on this guy. And, like I said, hasn't done a whole lot, but I think that you're looking at a horse that's really starting to trend into a good situation.
All right, that's a look at the majority of tonight's program. Randy's obviously going to stick around all night to chat race by race. You put together an early pick 5 ticket, guaranteed at $75,000. You've already kind of tipped your hand a little bit, so I assume you've got a couple of singles.
I do.
Yes. You've got a trio of singles.
Oh, yes. Okay, so I'm going to single in the first. I'm going to go Cobra Kate as a single in race number 2, Florida Guy. I think that's a logical single in there. Now, race number 3, I'm going to go all in there. I'm really, as we were, I'm a little worried that maybe I didn't give Cattle Kiss. She could jump up. Chad kind of likes Annie's Diva. There's a lot to go different ways in there. And then I went back to single with, what do we say, the 2-horse,
Calyx.
Calyx
is what I say.
Calyx is going to be a single in race number 4. Now, race number 5, obviously a bit of a problem with this one, too. I go a lot deeper. I'm going to use Better in Heels. I'm going to use Arden Gracie. I'm going to use Hot Cocoa. I'm going to use One for My Baby. And I'm going to use Whole Lot of Rosie. And for $1, if you want to play along, that's a $30 ticket.
Okay, so that's a look at Randy's early pick 5 ticket. The Hamiltonian Society poll, that they update weekly after obviously the big action, and there's been so much going on lately. Obviously, we're coming in off of a huge weekend here. Still plenty of stakes action to kind of shake things up, but we're going to get you caught up with the latest edition and the updated for the polls here. So Lou Print is back on top. I mean,
justified.
Yes, he had to miss some time.
What did he have to?
That's what I mean.
As a guy?
Yeah, I didn't think he had to, but now,
As a guy and seeing him go right back out and win, with what he went through,
no, I know.
Deservedly goes to the top.
No, I mean, he should be the clear one. Yo, Tilly's undefeated.
Yeah.
I believe.
Bojangles.
I think she's in the Red Mile, but yeah, Bojangles obviously there. He's moving up from 7th to 4th. And I mean, he had been undefeated anyway prior to this, but now, doing it at the Metro Pace level, winning $1 million race. Mickey and Minnie, of course. The big mares, they're going to renew their rivalry this weekend in Dayton. Lexus Cody's got the rail in the Dayton Trotting Derby Super Chapter. Moticon Legacy moving up a spot. And Apex, the million winner, is new to the list. In there to the top 10.
Great list, but I think that if I was doing it, somehow or another, I would finagle Lexus Cody a higher ranking than that. What he's done in the last little while, I think I go probably a higher ranking.
He's just really elevated his game.
Oh, and the races that he's won, those are like once in a lifetime races to win. I mean, he's stellar right now.
Yeah, and we mentioned that Bojangles is going to be racing here on Tuesday. He's got the rail in a field of 8 for that gold. Doc and Nancy Moore, 43rd wedding anniversary today.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Our good friend Kenny Middleton just messaged me and said, FYI, it's their anniversary. So
good for them.
Happy anniversary. That's a lot of years. There's a good friend of mine, his parents, who are still going strong. 60 years married today.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Donnie and Dorla Patterson, but for Team Moore as well, 43 years.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say to Nancy for putting up a doc for 43 years?
Yeah. What side of your chest do you want me to pin the medal on anyway? That's what I'd be saying to her. Yeah. No, they're a really good team.
Oh, yeah.
They get along they get along really, really well. And if you've seen some of the pictures from the other night, the Metro, Doc's a bit of a romantic.
Yeah.
I think Doc's got a bit of romance.
He's a cool
in him
cat.
there. He's a pretty cool dude.
He's a cool cat.
Yeah.
So, happy anniversary, kids.
Way to go, you guys.
Go out and have a nice night, please.
Yes.
Please. All right. We're going to wrap up the show here with, I know this happened a little over a week ago. Many of you probably already know about this. There's been some kind of chitter chatter about it here, but we just want to give him his due. Wheels on Fire. One of our fan favorites over the years. There's many that, we could categorize like that, but he was always a fun horse to watch. He's called it a career as far as the racing goes, and he's going to join OSAS for a next stage in his career. And you could probably agree to this. Whoever is maybe going to decide, I want to ride this guy today, get a ladder.
Oh, yeah. I think we should.
You'll need a boost.
I think we should get Dougie up on his back, and be, he sat behind him so many times, got so many big wins out of this big guy, and boy, oh boy, what a phenomenal horse that one is. And boy, you want to talk about a horse that deserves that second chapter of his life, and he's going to enjoy it.
It's tough.
You don't know, is he going to ride, or maybe he might even pull the cart?
He could, I'm not sure. Yeah, wouldn't that be a thrill if he came out here and these people that come out, and many of them have never sat behind a horse, and then you get to sit behind this, you won't even see around them.
No, for sure.
But just massive. What a great career. So 197 lifetime starts. He wins 51 of them, and those weren't against cheap company.
No, and it wasn't cheap racing either, the way he did it.
He won locally here 22 preferreds.
Yeah.
He was able to win, but $1.2 million in earnings.
1 second, Javon. Chad, what do you notice about that picture? What's the biggest thing that stands out? You know what stands out to me the most?
What's that?
That 10.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got you.
It didn't matter. 10 hole or not, he wins.
Yeah, but no, he was a lot of fun to watch and call or handicap or chit chat. Brad Grant, obviously his owner, and enjoying the time with him. And I'm sure Dougie would be one of his favorites, probably, that he got to sit behind.
When he was on his game, he was a free square.
Yeah.
If you're playing multis, when he was on his game. Because, he'd go to the front, and that would be the end of it.
What I always loved about him was that he would, when he would leave out, and he'd leave quick, but you wouldn't know it because he's so big, he doesn't look like he's going fast because he's just got such a stride on him, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it pops up in 26, and you're like, whoa.
He might be the biggest. He might be the biggest fast horse of all time. Like, I can't think of a horse that did more than this guy that was a bigger horse.
I'm just trying to think
than
of
him.
big horses. Like, an Ellis Park was big.
He was a big horse, but he didn't do as much as this guy.
Yeah. He was fast at times,
Yeah, there was. There's lots of big, Niatros was a big horse. He did lots too, But this could be one of the fastest big horses I've ever seen. What did his mark end up being? Do you remember? I can't remember. That was a dumb question, probably. But I'm going to say probably 47 and change.
Yeah, I would think he's probably got a 47-inch mile.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's
but a great career.
Probably one of the fastest big horses we've ever seen.
We'll miss him on the track, but we know he's going to get great care with OSAS, and he'll have fun living out into the next stage of his career. So Wheels on Fire, retired from racing, but out to OSAS he goes for the next chapter. All right, we're going to leave you with plays of the night. I know you've got your plays and other handicappers in here. I'm going to jet upstairs. Enjoy the car, buddy. Good
Sounds
to see you.
good. Thanks for working with me.
Yeah, no worries. John will be back this weekend with you.
Tomorrow, right?
Yeah, as we get into some more grassroots consolations. Then those championships are coming up on Saturday. Enjoy the card, everybody.
Okay, so we're going to do plays of the night, and we're going to start with myself. So in race number 1, it's going to be Waples Watch, and that's going to be Cobra Kate. In race number 4, it's going to be my all-in, and that's going to be Cali X. In race number 7, Worth a Look is going to be Lily Rain. And Beat the Favorite, going to come along in race number 10. You're going to have to stick around for that one. And that's going to be the 5-horse Elmer Hanover. And I'm sure we got some plays boards with some of our other resident handicappers. So right now, I would say that we got Gisland up on top with Ellis Island in a Special Z in race number 2. Kevin Ploucha coming in with Inukshuk Sally in race number 5. That's going to be a spot play for him. And in race number 7, Garnick's going to come along with the 5-horse Calgary Morning with his spot play as well. So best of luck with you guys. Best of luck for anybody that wants to play along with these sharp guys. And best of luck with anybody that's going to be playing along with me tonight. Should be an interesting night. Hopefully we stay dry, and hopefully Chad is able to make it upstairs in time to call that first race. And that's going to come along in about 3 minutes. So stick tight, and we'll be back to talk to you soon.